Okay, where did I leave off in the first video? I don't know. It was 2 days ago. Expect me to remember 2 days ago? So what I discovered is I watched the video that I made, and there were some units that I put in these buildings that I did not turn their fire off. And that is a big no-no, because then they will fire their guns, be exposed, and killed. So we're just going to go back through all these units and make sure their fire is turned off. Some I was competent with, and some I was not. These two guys I didn't. Hey, what do you want? Weed is legal in my state. Okay, the motorcycle, we can turn his movement off, and he has an officer ready to go. The bombing raid already took place. I lost, what, 2 motorcycles. I think they were both loaded up with a officer too. So that means I lost 2 motorcycles and 2 officers, which was not good. So we want to make sure all of our Pumas come to this rally point here. The AA guns, we want to scatter them around the battlefield because the P-51s will target them. And another guy with his fire button on. Now he was moving over to here. Let's just make sure he's doing that. These 3 guys, we're going to move 1 to this building. And you can't put them in the building when the buildings are unseen by another unit. So if I hover my mouse over one of these buildings, which my units are next to, you can see there's the enter house icon. Where if I do it on this one, there is no icon. And you will find sometimes that the picture of the map shows this building intact when in fact it was destroyed by something. So it doesn't always happen, but you will be like, oh, look at these buildings over here. I can move, and then you get there and they're all destroyed. Let's see. So these 2 guys, I found, what is it? This building here has been a pretty good building for me as far as not being discovered. And then there's a building on the corner here that will overlook this area here. We got this corner covered. Actually, we're going to move him to here. And they will use the second story. If you're wondering if second story and first story matters, it does. Because you will have, or I've had examples in the past where, like right here, a single story is next to a double story. And if you put a guy in the single story, he'll have a radius of like this. And then you put another guy in the double story and the radius will come out a little bit more. So it does matter. That is one thing this game does really, really good, is the line of sight. And you really have to take a look at what's painted on the battlefield too. You have to notice these little undulations and these little hillsides, because they will provide cover in lines of sight. And you can see there's a dark spot right here, all right, because this is the kind of a levels off on the same level as the road, and then it dips down, and then it looks like it might come back up right here. So you have to take note of these things, because they do factor in. All right, so let's just double check. Pumas here. And this is what, an AA. We'll move him to this field here. This half track is like half a squad, but it's like all the good stuff of the squad. The bazooka and the MG42. This is a good squad to put in a house that you're going to be firing from. And I like to use this nice big house here, so we're going to move this half track there. This motorcycle, we are going to move him here and unload his commander. And this one we're going to move here and unload his commander. This AA gun we're also going to bring to the field. This Puma, if I didn't move him already, I'm going to move him now again to there. This is another half squad. Here's another house that I like to use for fire, so I'm going to move the half tracks next to him. This half track up here, random infantry's got 2 medics in it, an MG42, some riflemen, some machine gunners. So that's going to be a good squad to put over here and help with the Pumas. Here's an abandoned supply truck. So the crew members that are in my reserve in the box trucks, we're going to move some of them up here to take control of them. And there's another supply truck that's going to become visible right here as soon as units move into the area. These two commanders, they're going to be in this building, this building, this building, and this building are all going to be spotting buildings. So we want to move commanders into each one of them. Here's another one. So there's 3. We need 1 more. Here's another half track. This has got 2 bazookas. The bazookas will support the Pumas because there will be a smaller contingent of armor that makes it across this ford. But the Pumas and the bazookas seem to have been able to handle them so far in my previous games. The heavy armor that I possess and the artillery is mostly going to be focused over here because that's where the main armor attack is going to come. And they probably attack with about 40 tanks and SPG guns as well. So what else do I got to move here? Crew members, or not crew members, but mechanics. Mechanics can also drive vehicles. So drive and shoot. They're the same as crew members. That's what I want to say. So, but we need them to repair stuff because these guys will take a few hits from the tanks crossing the ford. So we're going to put 1 here, and then we're going to move 1 over to support the Pumas. Now, it's good to have a lot of crew members next to your armor because the more crew members working on a vehicle, the faster it's repaired. So the other crew members we have in our depot area, we are going to move up to that area. But for now, that's good. This half track here is another one of those half squads. We'll move him up to the Puma area as well. Motorcycle, useless right now. We're going to put him down there. Another Puma to add to the Puma collection. The Hetzer, we're going to move him. I've been putting him right on this ledge here. He's been doing pretty good there. He gets resupplied by the trucks, and he has a good view of the ford. These 2 half tracks, we're going to use them later in the game, but they could possibly be used as reinforcements should the Americans do a little better in this game than they did in previous games. This supply truck, we can move him up to this AT gun and drop his load right next to the AT gun so they can just draw supplies from that. This Tiger tank we're going to move to back up this infantry. You can see from the road it kind of slightly goes up to this trench and then kind of levels off behind it. And then you can see another rise right here, and this is another plateau area. So this is where we're going to plant the Tiger, overlooking the ford. This is a squad with a heavy bazooka presence. We'll move them up to support the Pumas. Now, the 2 half tracks with the AT guns, we want to move them across the bridge next. And the Bombard, which is an artillery piece, we're going to move him up next to the bridge with this Martyr, which is basically a mobile anti-tank gun. Up, they're going to cross next. And, the medic, we can just scoot him right across because he's quick. So we'll put him, probably going to need a medic in this area. So we'll put him in the field here. This infantry here, submachine gunners, riflemen, and an MG42. We're going to move them up to about here for now. Because what's going to happen is I'm going to heavily, after I destroy the bridge, they're going to cross here, and I'm just going to pepper this thing with the Nebelwerfers over and over again. But there's times where the Nebelwerfers need to reload. And when that happens, some of the Americans do get across, and they kind of come in this direction here. So it's good to have a few units like scattered on the outskirts here so you can move them into different positions. as needed. This bazooka guy, we're going to need him as well. Just move him up there for now. And then we have this squad in this trench here we can move up. Now, we move these guys over to be safe from the planes. We can move them to the field now. So this is kind of like a third staging area. And let's see, our box trucks. We don't have time to move them over the bridge. The bridge has to be micromanaged because if you try to cross too many units over the bridge at once, the AI becomes retarded and it starts to go through the river and your stuff gets trapped and you can never use it again. I've had the bombard. I lost the bombard going into the river. So don't do that. This platoon of half-tracks, we'll just move them up a little bit closer. Let's check on our tanks. Yep, he's refueled. Let's move him right up to the bridge. This Panther, let's move him right up to the bridge. The Stug, move him up. Oh, this guy's refueled. They're all refueled. So we'll move them all up. Then we have 3 mechanics just hanging out. So we'll put them, we'll make them run. Actually, we don't want them running across the bridge now. It might clog things up. So we'll put them in the staging area. The medic trucks, we're going to put them in the staging area. Motorcycle, staging area. Fuel trucks we can leave there. There's our snipers running along. These are the extra mechanics. You guessed it, staging area. Here's another squad just hanging out doing nothing. We'll just reinforce the platoon, make it a strong platoon. We've got an extra supply truck here. Every supply truck counts. Now we've got various infantry, scattered infantry around. So what I'm going to do is, see how there's a little supply depot here? I'm going to put 1 infantry next to them so I don't forget they're there. And 1 infantry next to this supply depot. And these 4 dudes, we'll just move over to the staging area. They can run on foot. That's what the Army's all about. And I've got my AA guns that were refueled. So they're ready to go to fight off the P-51 attacks. I've never had the P-51s attack the railgun. So that is going to be relatively safe. Here is another motorcycle. Oh, there's my 4th commander that I need for this area. All right. Ooh, my volume was up too high. And we're just looking around to see if we got anybody. Oh, my machine gunner died pretty quick. I don't think he killed anybody. I had one game where he killed like freaking 5 or 6 people, which is good. I think the game does a pretty accurate job as far as small arms. World War II is not like you see in the movies. Every time somebody popped up and shot their gun, they killed somebody, right? That's not how it happened. Firefights were usually pretty long, 3, 5, 6, 8 minutes, which is an eternity. And there was a lot of missing going on. A lot of soldiers, they were just hoping if they laid down enough fire, the enemy would run away. Alright, this Puma's not moving, so we got to get him over to the staging area. We've got to unload this guy. And now that we can see these buildings, we're going to put the commanders in them. Oh, make sure their fire buttons are off. See that? Jeep took a hit of marijuana and he's forgetting everything. Alright, so 3 commanders, and he'll be in there. This, we're going to move up. Now, when you unload these half-tracks, the infantry are going to have their AI movement back on. Oh, we never turned it off because we can't. We can't turn off AI movement inside vehicles. So when you unload them, you want to quickly corral them and turn the AI movement off. Let's do that now. Let's just move the half-track up. Let's move this half-track over there. And when all 3 of them are together, I'm going to unload them all at the same time. And when they're totally unloaded, we're going to corral them all and turn their movements off. But I'm pausing it again because I'm paranoid I'm forgetting something. Is this half-track even moving?
Yep.
Because like I've commanded them like 5 times now, right? That might have been one of the things where something was crossing the bridge and the AI froze. See, it keeps freezing. It's like this AI knows it's going to cross the bridge, so this AI checks it and says, oh no, something's going to cross the bridge, so I might as well stay and wait. I think that's what happens. But if you re-click it, the AI adjusts itself. So, alright, this building is visible now, so let's pop him in there. And he's still got a little ways to go. Hopefully this guy can make it across, because I have to begin my bombardment of the bridge very soon. Let's unload these 2 officers. Make sure their AI is totally off. See, his fire button's still on. And see, these buildings were demolished. See how there's no cursor to put them in the building? So I've got 2 choices. So we're going to make them both observation areas. And this is going to be a 3rd observation area, and this is going to be a firehouse. And then we're going to scatter some infantry like in through here, because they have some lines of sight on some of that stuff I was telling you that's going to get through. The riflemen and a commander. Let's turn his fire off. Another rifleman. Let's unload these guys, the mechanics, and turn their movement off and put them on top of the hill. This half-track can come back down here and support. We'll put them next to the AA. Now we got 2 riflemen here. Riflemen are probably the main force you're going to use in infantry attacking. Submachine gunners are great for like this neighborhood up here. Close combat stuff. Oh, look at this Jeep. Wow, he's quick. Wonder if this guy's even going to make it. And the flamethrowers too. The flamethrowers have short range. So the Pumas, we're going to scatter in a skirmish line right in this U-shaped area overlooking the Ford entry point, landing point. And the Pumas have a 75 millimeter, so it's a really good gun. It can knock out Shermans. This guy, we got to turn his fire off and put into this building. And this motorcycle, we can get the hell out of there and put him with the other motorcycles. These 2 AT guns, we're going to put one right here where the 2 roads meet. And the second one, we're going to put over in Puma land right about here. And I found that putting it here gives him shots here and here, because he goes through his ammunition like crazy. Putting him next to the ammo thing, he only has like shots in through here. Let's see. This is another nope, that's a heavy squad and it's making its way over. Now another thing you can do is these box trucks aren't going to be transporting the Nebelwerfers for quite some time. So the crew members in them, I can take them out and use them for these supply trucks. And then when I finally get my box trucks of crew members across the bridge, I can re-equip or put them in the assign them to the box trucks that I abandoned. So let's go ahead and do that now with the pause trick, one at a time. Oh, I should have done. Turn their movements off. Oh, for some reason their movements are off. That's weird. Maybe oh, you know what? When you click the vehicle to turn off the movement, it also affects the drivers or the crew members, but not the passengers. That's what happens. If that made sense. All right, so these two will go here, and these two will run all the way to here. Hetzer's going where he's supposed to go. Here's another. There's a lot of bazookas in here. And flamethrowers. Let's move them up to here in case any tanks break through over here. So we have an AT gun. We've got to move this truck next to the AT gun and drop his supplies. But the one AT gun may not be enough for what crosses. The next thing to cross is going to be the Martyr and the Bombard, and then the tanks are going to be up there for the next crossing. These fuel trucks, we're going to use them real late in the game. Some of the stuff will become a little famished on the fuel. Alright, that's good for now. Move him up. Supply truck. Supply truck.
Okay.
Alright. Take these guys out of the half track.
Yeah, boy.
Move the half track over here out of sight. And put these guys in the building. Actually, the commander. Is that the commander? Yeah, let's see. There he is, alright. Let's put the commander over here. With his AI turned off. And then we've got what here? So in this building, we've got a bazooka, an MG42, and a rifleman. I believe you can put 5 units in a building. So we're going to put another rifleman in there, and then a medic. This medic is going to stay with there. All right, we can start bombarding the bridge as well. These 2 motorcycles are not needed here. I think that was that Puma I was having problems with, right? The problem Puma. And let's see, this AA, we'll try to put him right in the bunker. Now, if you hit the R key, remember I said these correspond to your keyboard? So the R key is rotate. Click on the truck, rotate where you want the front to point, unpause it. Now we can unload his supplies right next to the AT gun. So he will do that. So that AT gun will have a decent amount of supplies. Now we're going to queue up the Nebelwerfers, and we're going to target the bridge. So hit the 8 key and then right click on the bridge. And hopefully that slow-ass AA gun will get out of the way. This guy needs to go in the building. And he needs to go in that building. My spies are doing pretty good. See this shit? Look at that. Nasty, right? Now, this is too far for the Nebelwerfers to shoot. They can actually shoot this far, but by the time the rockets get there, they're like all over the freaking map. And so you end up wiping out some of your spies. So it's the railgun is probably more precise on this, but if you start nailing these things, they catch on. They know they're being spotted by something, and they start searching these buildings. So we don't want to do that just yet. Even though you can knock out a few key units, it's not worth losing the spotters this early. And let's see, where was I down here? We got to unload these half tracks.
Bestätigt.
Oben 4.
Verstanden und bestätigt.
All right, good. Now, this building here, we want some heavy firepower. MG42, another MG42, and let's see, rifle, and a medic. The medics will heal units in the building as they get injured. The submachine gunners, we do not need them until later in the game. So we're going to put all the submachine gunners up in these trenches up here, just so I know where they are. The riflemen, we can move closer. And we want to turn off all the movements here. Otherwise, they'll start deploying to random buildings and firing their weapons and giving away positions, and all kinds of bad stuff happens when you let the AI do the work for you. Get these guys faced in the right direction. You can hear the Nebelwerfers going off in the background. So now these are spaced out a little bit more. We're going to put one other spy into this front building here. Now, you know what? I've been doing that in the past, but let's make this a fire building. And let's put the commander like right here. This bazooka in between these Pumas. The bazookas I want to keep like in this area here, because there will be stuff firing from over here, and they can knock out your bazookas if you line them up in this area. Another submachine gunner, we can move to the back trench. Here is a rifleman, we'll put him in this building. This commander I'll put up here next to the Pumas. Got another bazooka, another submachine gunner, and it's getting to the point where I'm forgetting which ones I assigned and which ones I didn't, so we'll just leave them go for now. Let's work over here a little bit. Alright, so in this house, we need a medic. Don't I have a medic on a motorcycle? Yes, I do. Alright, so we don't unload him. And we want to move him to the house. Got two submachine gunners. This is pretty good range for submachine gun right here. So we'll move them over to there, and then the rifles will move over to here, where they have a little bit longer. And there's an MG42 we can put on the ground over there. This bazooka will kind of hide behind this tree. This motorcycle will get the hell out of the way. He might even be moving already, and I just paused it and don't know he's moving. These two riflemen over to here. Submachine gunners can stay. This medic, we're going to drop him back. MG42, we're going to drop him back a little bit. And then I believe I have a half trek. Okay, this guy has unloaded all his supplies. Here's another bazooka. We can move him up. We have this infantry over here. We're just going to put all this... Oh, actually, these submachine gunners we're going to put in this trench. With an MG42 on the end. And these two riflemen we'll put there. This, we got to turn him around. We got to turn him around. This motorcycle could come back over here. The bombard has made it across. We got to fire the Nebelwerfers at the bridge again. We can do the railgun too. The railgun, at least, he probably won't hit the bridge, but at least he'll get his gun pointed in the right direction. So when we do need him to fire in this area, he's already pointed that way. The railgun is inaccurate, but has a huge blast radius. The bombard is surprisingly accurate, and I've been able to hit vehicles while they've been moving with the bombard. So that's a little unrealistic, I think. But I don't know for sure. I've never seen a bombard in action, so maybe they know something I don't. I don't know. Well, see, the mortar decided to go backwards because the bombard was taking up too much bridge space. So now it's delaying my tanks. Look how slow this damn thing is. So we might as well turn the Panther. And I would love to sit there and watch these guys cross the bridge, but while I'm watching that, something somewhere else is being neglected. Alright, my skirmish line is looking pretty good. I like to put some stuff over here, and I haven't done that yet. What do I have to put over there? Well, I can move this heavy weapon squad over there. Half a squad. And, oh, this Puma. There we go. Am I missing a Puma? Thought I had 5 Pumas. I just like saying the word Puma, Puma, Puma. Okay, you see this right here? After the Nebelwerfers destroy the bridge, this is the stuff we're going to go after. My spotters are spotting them. This is the group that's going to go to the second fort.
Okay, come on.
Alright, bridge is out. Now we can aim the Nebelwerfers right about here. By the time the rockets land, we'll grab some of this stuff. Did my crew members make it to the truck yet? No. How about over here? Yes. So this truck, we want to turn its movement back on. And we want to put this truck over here because this is where all the heavy tanks are going to be firing their weapons on the ford, and we want to get them resupplied as quickly as possible. This tank is not exactly where I want it, so we're going to move him up a little bit more. This truck can go to hell. No, there is a supply depot. Actually, we got time to use him for here, so let's bring him back all the way to there and load up those supplies. Alright, where's my Panther? See, you never crossed the bridge. Because the martyr was in the way.
Munition bereit.
Alright, you can hear the Nebelwerfers going on from the background. This martyr we're going to put on the very tippy top of this. He'll knock over some of these trees getting up here, so he'll create himself a line of sight, because these trees do block the line of sight. This tank is about where I want it. See how he's still kind of like a little down the hill? And I really want him leveled off to make sure his line of sight is good. There it goes. Alright, so let's move him, or rotate him this way. The engineers did not make it in time. There's too much stuff crossing here. There's no way they're going to get down there and lay mines in time. So we want to move them somewhere safe until they have to repair the bridge later. So they're going to come way over here. This ammo truck will drop off here. The Bombard, we're moving over next to the Nebelwerfers. He's on his way back to get supplies. 2 Panthers are crossing. We can move the Stug up. Second Tiger up. These mechanics, let's get them out of the way just so there's no AI troubles with them. A lot of stuff to manage. Alright, bazooka in the trees, or bushes. MG42, as high up on this hill as possible. Rifleman, same thing. Commander right about here. Turn off his AI totally so he uses his binoculars more. You know what? The commander's firing, even though they are pretty good shots. If they fire, they draw fire. And they draw enough fire just being an officer. But I think they draw extra fire if you start using them to shoot with. This house, fully garrisoned. Good. There's a submachine gunner I forgot about. Let's put him back here. This rifleman can support the bazookas. This ammo dump, if it gets hit, it's going to blow up the shit. So hopefully nothing will get close enough to hit it. Now another thing, this box here is aggressive, kind of, this is like the in-between. So what happens? Let's see. These guys, this unit here, if you advance infantry, they will stop to fire at the first target they see. This one here, they will advance, fire, and kind of take cover. And this is good for defense because they automatically take cover no matter what. So we want to highlight all these guys and make sure you have this icon. And they should all hit the ground. Yep. So units on the ground are much harder to hit. And what I'm looking for right now is if my spotters have any tanks that are just sitting doing nothing, like this one here. Good spot for, or good for the railgun. So let's target the railgun on him. These guys we can unload, and these mechanics we can unload, and then immediately turn their AI off. This half track can move up behind these buildings, this one here for reserves, and then these bazookas, let's move 2 of them up immediately. Let's put this is this fully garrison house? Yes, it is. So let's put this MG42 into this second house. Submachine gunner this way. A rifleman this way. These are bazookas, another thing. Okay, and the mechanics we kind of want over here. There's my 2 crew members going for the supply truck. It looks pretty good so far. And this is my second staging area. Gotta wait for this truck to cross the damn bridge. Let's move this Panther up more. He's blocking the truck. And the Panther we're gonna move all the way to here. This Tiger to the hill. This guy needs to reload up. Let's get the Nebelwerfers going again. Let's watch this attack, huh? Let's see if we knock some of this stuff out. Oh, they found one of my scouts. Result I'm hoping for, so we're going to hit it again, and we're going to use the bombard too. Where's he? Is he in position? Yes, he is. Now the bombard, you have to actually target a vehicle. Now the Nebelwerfers again. Nebelwerfer is a fourth time. Now they're probably going to start reloading. Oh, they still have some, yeah, they've been reloading all along. That's good. Okay, we've got the AT gun here. We want to set that up immediately. These bazooka guys we can move up, because we want to make sure to take care of any armor that gets across there quickly. And once the crew is on the AT gun, we can point them in this direction. This half track, mostly submachine gunners, we'll use him later in the game, so let's move him back to the third staging area. This half track is almost where I want that gun, so let's make sure he gets up there. And right there is perfect. And unload it with the A key. A is an apple. And then pause, and let's get this half track submachine gunners again out of there. Now this half track here is a reserve, right? Yeah, they got some bazookas that if any... Oh, look at this big attack coming across. So the Nebelwerfers now have to change their They've done what they can over here to help this side. Now this side needs to use, because Nebelwerfers are going to be primarily right here. And we're going to get the railgun. See if he's fired a shot. Yep, he's down to 8 shots. So let's see if he hit his target. I think I gave him a target over here, right? Well, whatever was spotting that M10, I think I had a guy in this building here, is now dead. So that's a good example of their units looking for the spotters. Alright, that's going to be it for this video, because I need to take a little break, and well, you're not going to know when I do the third video anyway, right? It's just YouTube. You just click on it.